Hello, everybody, and welcome to Football Manager 26, where I do know it got a critical reception, and I definitely understand why. However, it is one of my favorite games. I know it's usually not, I don't record it probably the way that, helps me get a ton of, views. Like, I'm probably not as interactive as I need to be with it and all that. But I do love the game, and even with the problems and some of the things that I wish were in the game that aren't currently in it, I do enjoy it a lot. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna add it. And I was gonna do a EU5 update this morning. However, all of my saves are crashing. Now, there hasn't been a super recent update. I do know there was another update that came out, and I could probably reset it and not start over. I do like playing with the most up-to-date version of the game, though. So I'm kind of debating whether or not can I try to get the save games to not crash, or do I have to reset it to the previous update, or do I start over again? So I've been trying to work my way through that, because that is a little frustrating, right? Because like Poland was going really well, and then I maybe could continue to play as that, but I thought, you know what, it's a little bit unstable. I'll start over as Bulgaria. Bulgaria, I kind of finally got to a point where we were making a little bit of money. We were integrating provinces. We were maybe turning the corner a little bit. And, if it would have happened like in episode 2, when we were still just up against it completely, I would have been frustrated, but like, yeah, okay. But to like almost kind of turn a little bit of the corner and have it happen now, that is a little bit frustrating. But all right. So you can see I do add a whole lot of nations that are playable, because I don't start off at Wolves, right? Wolves are having a pretty horrific start to the season here in the Premier League. And, I know like there's other, teams in the big leagues that you could obviously play as who are not off to a great start. You can try to save them. But I usually do start in a small nation, at the lower levels, and try to build it up. So it's a journeyman. It's like a true journeyman kind of path to glory kind of thing. And I try to create a manager that sucks, because I love managing soccer. I've coached kind of youth soccer for a couple years. I suck. I like to continue my career at it. But, so I guess maybe that's where that's why I'm like, hey, you know what? My manager's going to suck. I suck. He's going to suck. Right. Anyways, um, so I think we're going to start in when I very first started playing Football Manager. We're going to start the late preseason here in Hungary, because I believe that's the first country I ever really played in. And or was it Romania? Might have been Romania. Might have been Romania. But it's either Hungary or Romania. To be honest, I cannot entirely remember. But we're going to go Hungary here in the game. You can see, we have the second league and above in Austria, right? You know what, though? I think we might actually start at Austria. Do we go to Austria and try to challenge Red Bull? Nope. We're going to start at Hungary. Maybe we go to Austria or Poland next, right? Or maybe Romania, right? And try to build our way up the ladder. So we're going to go in and load the database. So what I do like about FM26 is how the setting up of the manager, I really like the mechanics there. The match engine is better. I mean, it's not FIFA or anything, or what is it, EA Sports, sorry. It's not anything like that. That is better. I do feel like, them putting shouts back in and some of the other mechanics that have kind of worked their way back in a little bit, some slight improvements to the UI, I think are good. I do understand, for the most part, what they were trying to do with FM26 as a company, right? And the transition to Unity and all of that. and to kind of pair the console with the computer version, the PC version. I understand that. I do feel like they just completely missed the boat, though, right? I feel like they tried to change too much, and they swung for the fences, which I understand, right? I understand that concept, but I think they definitely swung for the fences, and they missed, or hit a dribbler back to the pitcher, right? Just use a baseball reference, and it's not a awful game by any stretch, but it's also not a great game, and it's not a finished game. And one of the things as we load in that I really hate that I can't get into right now that does prevent a little bit of the immersion, and it might just be a me thing. It might just be a me thing. The club histories. Like I loved going back when I was applying for a job or joining a club. I could go back to like 1950 or 1920 and I could see their standings for every season. That was like, okay, hey man, this club has never played in the Europa League or in any competition in Europe. That would be a really cool story if I could, in my head, right, as I was trying to build up that immersion, can I lead them into the Europa League for the very first time, or even better yet, obviously the Champions League? That is what I miss, right? Because I am a nerd. I love the numbers, and that is kind of what I miss the most at this point. The match engine, like it. I think the transfers and contracts and all that is better than it was at the start. Maybe it's still not quite as streamlined as it was in previous versions of FM and whatnot, but I feel like that's making improvement. I don't know if I love how you have to set up the new trading sessions, but whatever. I've kind of got my head around a lot of it, and I do think the match engine is a definite improvement. And I think there's some other aspects of the game that are also an improvement, and they've listened a little bit to the community and added shouts back in, which is neat. I mean, I don't know how much that really matters to me, but it's nice to be able to do it, right? Um, but I do hope that the club histories, the in-depth history from year to year, even as a manager, right? Because I was played in the Bulgarian league for a long time, that I finally got a job in the first league because we just missed out a promotion at the end of our second season. Like you could see where you were, that you didn't win any trophies, but you couldn't click on it and see you went 20, 10, right? You don't have the points, the control, you don't have all of that. At least on my save. Like maybe I will now moving forward since I'm starting a new save. Maybe that'll help. But that kind of hurt my immersion, right? Not having that detailed history. Obviously, playing with such a large league, it does take a little bit of time to load in. So, okay, so we are finally here. Uh, so we could start at the top in the first division, which is OTP Bank Liga. Okay, so it just automatically loads it. So it used to be I had to like change the skid, but it automatically loads in. So I am going to start at the lower division in Hungary. I am going to start employed. Sometimes I'll start unemployed, but be getting so late and so close to the start of the season, I am going to let myself start employed. Vasas, and I'll try to figure out again the pronunciations on some of these, are expected to be title contenders, so I don't necessarily want to be them. Jaguar. I used to go up Siskovar, but I did look up. They're called Jaguar. They love the club, below average trading. Okay, basically youth enter the third round in the Hungarian Domestic Cup. They are professional. They were founded in 1947. They were one of the teams that I played as, and Tizakeshke was the other one. I don't love this kit. Like this is such a weird looking kit, right? Like this one is okay, that one's okay, that one just looks weird. Adequate training in youth. They also entered the third round. They only have 630 fans, or a 630 seat stadium, below average training, basic youth. I mean, yeah, like you were founded in 1912, though. 1989, they're kind of new. 1945, 1911, 6,300, below average training, adequate youth. Predicted to finish third. 5,000 here. Basic training, basic youth. Supposed to finish towards the bottom. Founded in 19, relatively new though, right? 1912. Eighth, so kind of mid-table of the second division. Title contenders here. 8,400, yeah, good training, good youth. Towards the bottom, these people all the way at the bottom. When were they? 1989. 1945. They're actually, I think they're expected to be the worst. Karsog. Um, Videoton, 1941. Vidi, 14,000. Good training and average youth. Because the thing is, again, I'm gonna suck. So like, my manager's gonna suck. So I don't want to like give them like um, a really good team, right? BVSC, founded in 1911, or BVS, yeah, expected to finish 14th. Below average trading, below average youth. 6,000 possible supporters. Like the benefit, like the downside of playing at Zeb is obviously you're going to have to expand the stadium, right? Like that is just this, or build a new one because that is just tiny, tiny. A little bit over 2,000 people, founded in 1947. Top half is where they think they're going to be. The advantage here with BVSC is that with 6,000 fans, theoretically, right, that's going to be enough to, if we did get promoted, right, we wouldn't have to expand the ground, right? Because a Cash K, 4,500, adequate training, adequate youth, below average, below average. They're still expected to finish in the top half, though. Uh, finances are okay. Finances are okay. Finances are okay. What about these people? 2000, and they were founded in 1945. You know what? Sorry, I've been going back and back, back and forth, back and forth. So we are based in Budapest. So theoretically, that would give us the biggest opportunity to uh, grow, right? Although obviously there's going to be several teams in Budapest, but uh, we could, in theory, grow the fan base a little bit easier. Uh, Fine, we'll go here. BVSC. All right, we are going to create a new manager profile. Mm, Kind of an angry looking dude right there. Um, we'll change the outfit, but that'll be the general. Well, yep, that's what we'll go with. All right. Um, Height 6'2". Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Hair. Mm, yeah. We're not gonna give him cornrows. What if we give him? Yeah, that's fine. The color will change a little bit. Blonde, orange, red. Sure, we'll go there. We'll go there. My color, green. Sure. All right. Attire will change, right? Um, Actually looks kind of cool. That actually looks kind of cool, right? That I actually like. All right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna say, hey, right, your endemic um, is gonna be the manager. If he was born on January 1st, 2020 or 2000, he would be what, 25? Yeah, we're gonna make him a little bit older. Um, I mean, I was born in 1984, so we're not gonna quite make him that old, but we'll go 1995, right? So now he's 30. We will say we were born in Hungary. Um, okay. Oh, it's like the place of birth. So there's not really a lot of places it's gonna let me be from, apparently. Um, yeah, fine. We'll just select that. I mean, that was kind of weird, but we will be Hungarian. Oh, you get to choose your languages spoken? Interesting. Uh, do I want to let him speak another language? No. All right. What level did you reach in our football playing career? I will say I was a second tier star. I was successful in the tier immediately below the top of the domestic pyramid. I'm just 30 years old, so like theoretically I could have played longer, but I'm gonna say I had an injury, right? So I consistently turned up in the lower leagues, including semi-pro football. Yes, I'll go with here. So I'll say I'm a lower league veteran, and eventually I did transition into the front office because it kind of became clear I wasn't going to advance playing wise. Okay, have you ever worked in football that a non-played role? I'll say I was a I was a scout and a youth. I was a youth coach and a scout, right? So I have a little bit of a background in terms of playing. How well? Oh, how well? No, okay. How well known for it am I? I'll say I was recognized locally. Uh, Youth coach. Yeah, okay, we'll go with the youth coach. Fine. I do have a coaching badge. I'll say I have a national C license, so I have obscure, lower league veteran, not played role. I'm a coach. All right, so I'm going to start with the lowest national license. Continental Pro is the highest. All right, if I had a national B, I would be considered a local reputation, but I have an obscure reputation currently. Coaching style. I could select three. So I do want to develop our youth. You want to develop young talent and help players realize their potential. Um, I do want to kind of develop a specific approach that leads heavily on possession, but I'm also going to say we want to be energetic and we're going to try to have a system. Makes the most of set pieces. Develop young players, play energetic, and we make the most of set pieces. Okay. My personality is we can select two. I want to be resilient. You have the ability to bounce back from disappointment more than anything else. When you get knocked down, you get back up. And you want to be I want to be disciplined. Actually, you know what? I'm going to be driven and disciplined. I'm a natural leader and I'm driven. Okay. So we are Adrian Dabick. We are 30 years old. Marks. We are obscure. We are reasonable with youngsters, reasonable with fitness, reasonable authority, determination, and motivating. Unsuited for everything else. That is who we're going to start with. Our little green-eyed, green-eyed ginger. So that's who we're going to start with. BVSC, Central Point, Adrian Dabick. A lower league veteran as a player, he has some local experience from a coaching perspective, but now takes this opportunity to further his career. You can see they are predicted to finish 14th, and we are national. So we will begin our career. Apparently I'm bald now. Oh, there we go. So a little bit interesting how that transition worked. So you can see we have a bunch of friendly. We have about 3 weeks until the first match. So I don't know that we'll do a whole lot more, right? Club vision and expectations meeting, work within the payroll budget, and avoid relegation. That's all they really want us to do for this year. The 5-year plan is be competitive in the domestic cup. Maximum 1-year contracts for players over the age of 32. That's fine. Avoid relegation. Yeah, and then reach the third round in terms of the season expectations. Last season, they finished 9th. And if we can avoid a relegation battle, we'd get a little bit more. But I will say we'll say avoiding relegation will be the ultimate goal. Profile introduction. We have 25,000 social media followers, 50 season ticket holders. They want us to record a top half finish and try to make progress on it off the pitch. I don't know about the top half finish, but facility wise, we are in Budapest. 3,500 people are seated. Field condition is perfect, like that. Below average trade, below average youth, adequate academy, fairly basic youth recruitment. We do have a separate. No, we don't. It's the same. Okay. And fairly basic corporate. So those are our facilities. Obviously, we'll try to improve those. I think we will go through our tactics and what I want to do. Although, before we do that, we have 20 players. If we look at our first team, Mr. Petrov here, 2.5 star, 19-year-old keeper. Good handling at 12. Punching, not bad. Reflexes aren't terrible. Rushing out is actually good. Throwing is good. Aerial reach is not bad. 6 feet tall, 2.5 stars. Breakthrough prospect. We do have euros is our monetary value. 430 weekly, 65,000 to 140,000 is what we think. Okay. We don't have any out and out strikers, so that's a little depressing. We have 2 complete center backs, and one of them is Vinicius, although he is Hungarian. He is also 35 years old. 7 caps for Hungary. He's number 90. He's our star player. At 35, I don't know how much longer he's going to be around. Oliver here, 3 stars, 29. So we're kind of old at center back. He's 29. The other guy's 35. All right, our under 19s, we have 7. We have Alexandru, 2.5 stars, 6 foot. He is Romanian, 19 years old, no nonsense center back. He might get called up. Then, well, Kovacs is a youth player at 18 years old, 1.5 stars. Good jumping reach. Okay at marking, not terrible at tackling or heading. 18 years old. He is a Hungarian. He's also on loan from Budapest. I don't know. Guy is Ukrainian. He can play a little bit on both wings. Okay, So we took a little bit of a look at our squad there. And we're going to go in and set up our tactic. Wing play, fluid counterattack, and direct counterattack are areas that they think we could potentially be set up in. No, I don't want to do either of those. Fluid counterattack. I do like the 3-4-3. Now, I don't. So I think we'll go 3-4-3 narrow in possession and wide out of possession just to try to get some more, support to the wings defensively. At least that's what we'll start with, right? You can see Urice. Oh, that is a young 19-year-old from Romania. Okay. We don't have. Yeah, we're not great. What is this? The advanced wingback? Yep. Look at that. I was actually correct on that. And then we do have kind of two number 10s, obviously, that are striker Farkas, who I guess is on loan, which is why he's in blue. Yep. 23 years old, finishing of 10, first touch at 12, 5'11". Okay. Picar over here as a channel midfielder. 32 years old. Crossing, dribbling, finishing are all pretty decent. 5'8". All right, so that is where we're gonna just go with our tactics. We'll play around with the different, instructions and everything, all of that, obviously. What I want is I want these guys to provide width, and then obviously play the ball into them, and then as well as Farkas, and try to score that way. I do love the 3-4-3, right? Because you can kind of get to a back five, you can even get back to like a 5-4-1 defensively if you want a really super defensive kind of low block. Start off with a cautious mentality because again we're supposed to be towards the bottom of the towards the bottom of the table in terms of our projected finish. So we're going to complete the tactics. We have our squad introduction and responsibilities, but I don't think we'll go through anything else right now. What I will do is I'll go here to the club. We have 200,000 euros currently. We have an income of, we made 1.5 million last month. We are 100% maxed out on our wage. That's a little problematic. A transfer budget. We have 25,000 euros available, so at least there's that because we can adjust that and try to get a little bit more. If we have to, for new contracts, if there's any free agents. But I did want to go here and see with our staffing what we're missing. I suck. 1 star. Decent fitness coach. Decent goalkeeping coach. I get it. There, he'll be the offensive guy. I'll be the passing. Lord, I'll be the passing guy with my little half-star rating. as of right now, right? Hopefully, we'll be able to get a coach, uh, performance head of youth development. We can head of youth development, and then performance analyst. We can get a recruitment analyst. And get a scout. We'll get a chief scout. I don't know that I'm going to go after a technical director right away. It makes sense. Like, yeah, might as well, right? Fill the roles, right? We do need a head physio, a head of sports science, and then just a regular sports scientist. Try to fill out our staff here. Responsibilities introduction. We will do this real quick. We have a match against Gula on Wednesday. Might be helpful to delegates her test to the back room. We'll just continue. And continue. Yeah. We're going to end it. But what we are going to do is we're going to go to staff. Whoops, sorry, responsibilities. Kind of go through here. Recruit staff, hiring and firing of the under 19 staff. We are going to take control of that. Same with the medical. Same with the scouting. Take courses. Yep. Take courses. We'll take control of that. We are going to take control of all the contracts. Scouting responsibility, assigning counts. I want to do, or assigning scouts, I should say. When we scout players, we'll watch them for 2 weeks. When you scout a player, I don't know. That's what we'll do. Early on, when it comes to our responsibilities, we'll probably play around with that some more anyway as well. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I do apologize. So what I'll probably do, to be honest, is, well, we won't show a lot of the friendlies. We'll simulate through July here. You know, if we have big news in terms of let's see our contracts, right? A lot of contracts come due, you know, a year from now. You know, if we make any big news in terms of a created signing, somebody leaving, you know, if when we start getting coaches, you know, hired, we'll probably come back for that. And, you know, then we'll kind of look and see how we've maybe adjusted our tactics, maybe how certain things around the club have changed. And then we'll go from there. Thank you, everybody, and I will talk to y'all later.